Hi, I'm Shirley Dylan Settles again, and I'm going to be shooting Lomography simple use cameras. So I got called a gay for wearing these glasses at the grocery store about half an hour ago. First of all, thanks for noticing my glasses, guy. Second of all, he didn't even say it to me. He just said it to a dog. And that dog's probably the only person in his life who doesn't call him out for being a toxic douchebag. So, whatever. So I have not one, but two of these cameras, and they've already been used, so they don't have the original film. I'm not shooting the Lomochrome Purple or the 400 ISO. This one I've already shot almost 2 rolls. First roll is Kodak's Max Zoom 800, which had an expiration date of, where is it there? 2001, if you can see that, so it's 18 years old. And then currently, there's Kodacolor VR 1000 in here. My friend Chris Riley gifted me this in exchange for him borrowing a couple of lenses when he went to Iceland. And in this one, I think I'm going to try to find a roll of Lomo 800. I usually have a lot of that lying around, so I'm going to load that up with that and shoot that. No surprise, there's not really too much going on with these cameras. Shutter button on the front. Film counter right there. It does have a built-in flash. You pull down that button and the flash turns on, and it's got these different colored gels that you can cover the flash with. No controls for shutter speed or aperture or anything like that, of course. It opens here on the side. See if I can do this one-handed. Probably not. So yeah, I could not do that one-handed, but there's a lever on the side and it opens it up. To reload this, which they don't actually recommend, film goes in this side, pulls across here. There's the tiniest little nub right there that you're supposed to get the film onto. And then there's a winder on the bottom. You pull that through a little bit, then you've got to close it. And there's a little lever right here you have to engage while winding it in order to get the film wound out and ready to shoot. The first time I tried to load this, I did not do that and kind of messed it up, but I actually somehow managed to fix it back up. When you're shooting the film, click the shutter, then this pulls the film back into the cartridge, and it actually resets the shutter by the sprockets moving this little guy right here. So engage the shutter and the film goes across. Let my camera refocus, maybe. So yeah, I couldn't. There's this little sprocket guy right here, if you can see that, and the film, when you wind it with that, pulls across that guy and resets the shutter. So that is not going to be a highly efficient system, I suspect. So that could break over time, or just not really fully advance the film, or advance the film too much. So I'll see how that comes out in shooting. And since this is an all plastic body that's just kind of cheaply made, I anticipate as it gets used more and more, there will be more issues with light leaks. So this is going to be a lot like shooting just a little pocket-sized Holga that's 35 millimeter. There's Hey everybody. I did end up shooting 4 rolls with the Lomography simple use cameras. I did 2 Lomography 800 ISO rolls that were fresh, and then 2 expired rolls to go full Lomo on this. I did the Kodak 800 ISO, I think that was called the Max Zoom, and then I did a Kodak 1000 ISO VR. 2 rolls with each camera. My initial notes on these is that they are very difficult to load and seem to have some issues with either the film advancing or the film lying flat inside the camera. So this first roll of the Lomography 800 has some real issues. Maybe would want an entire roll of accidental abstracts. It's not what I was going for. So this entire roll was pretty much useless. There were a couple of cool shots, you know, real dreamy-ish kind of stuff. But if you're going to reuse these cameras, do know that you have a possibility of just wasting a roll of film, which I was prepared to do that, and I regret nothing. But as you can see, just there was like multiple exposures or something going on, or multiple things going on, but then you just have a random picture that looks okay. So that was the first roll I scanned, and it really killed my my hopes of this being worth it at all. And the other 3 rolls, it's not really anything to get excited about. It's a disposable camera that you can reuse. So at best, it looks like a disposable camera, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. And some of the highlights are actually when it only sort of failed. Like any film camera or any toy camera or crap camera, they definitely prefer to have a lot of light. And the flashes on these were kind of garbage. And one of the cameras, the flash didn't work whatsoever, and so any of the pictures that I tried to use flash on just didn't come out, which was kind of a bummer. And then on the other camera, the flash did work, and I tried to experiment with the colored gels that are attached to the camera to go over the flash, and I don't think I got any results that really you could even notice or care that there was a color gel over the flash. So this was a fairly bright overcast day. I took some other shots with another camera, and I had no problem with light. But this, which was fresh 800 ISO film, looks underexposed. I would not expect a reliable shutter from a camera like this, but I would more so expect it to fail on the side of staying open too long. But this kind of seemed to be all over the place, and there are shots that it seems like the shutter closed too quick, which was unexpected. But that is the essence of Lomography. Expect the unexpected, just go shoot. And so that's fine, I guess, if that's what you're into. Apparently I'm into it. This is one of my favorite shots from all 4 of the rolls. I think this is, in some ways, what people look for out of doing the Lomography thing. It's very Holga-esque, with the color shifts and low contrast. I especially like on the left side the just lens distortion that's curving the lines. So I wish that there were more shots like this from all 4 of the rolls. But what can you do? That was the second roll. So then now this will be the first roll of expired film. This is Kodak 800, as I said. What am I doing here? So, as I was saying about the unreliable shutters, this is expired film, but these shots are at like 2 o'clock on a very sunny day, and came out looking like night. So I'd have to assume that the shutter is just acting wonky. I don't know why else that would have come out like that, because there are other shots on this roll that such as like these are the same or on the same kind of day, the same kind of lighting conditions, did not come out the same. Maybe the underexposed shots are the camera or the shutter acting as expected, and the ones that came out closer to more properly exposed are the camera failing. I didn't think about that way before. These are with the flash, and not impressed. One of the things I liked about these cameras was the size. They're very compact. I was kind of hoping that they would be a cool go-to just pocket camera, but I don't think I would bother. They're not a ton smaller than like a Canon SureShot or something. They're certainly not smaller than a lot of the APS cameras. What am I saying? So I think that the difficulties and the characteristics of the camera would not be worth using regularly. I would kind of grade these cameras a thumbs down to maybe thumbs medium. Oh, this is the expired 1000 ISO Kodak VR film. I tried to use it as much as possible on very bright days to compensate the fact that it was like 15 or 20 years expired. And some of these came out okay. But yeah, I don't think I would go back to these cameras again. There's not really much benefit. But it's worth trying. One of the things about shooting these crap cameras and crap film and whatever I can find is that it, gets me out shooting. Without doing this, I tend to be lazy and not go out and shoot and not practice my photographic muscles. So we're coming up to, some of these do look really cool. Very moody, soft focus, atmospheric, aesthetic. So we're coming up on a section here where knowing these cameras and knowing how they work, if I wanted to shoot a certain situation, I would know. I know that I could go to these and get the results that I wanted. This is a shopping center in Mattydale, New York, that is almost completely abandoned. There are still a few shops in it, but a lot of it's closed and have the signs removed and whatnot. And these cameras definitely up the ghost town kind of atmosphere. So for a situation like this, it's just good to know that I've got a go-to thing to amplify that effect. Again, this was a bright day, and the camera just underexposed the shots. So yeah, this is certainly not something that I'm going to use on a daily basis. This is not going to be my go-to pocket camera. the Lomography simple use, but it was a fun experiment, and I'm thinking about actually doing a series of photos in line with this, documenting the failing of late capitalism in Syracuse, New York. So maybe I'll use these cameras again in that respect. We will see. And thus concludes my adventures with the Lomography simple use cameras, my friends. Buy one, shoot it, regret it, don't regret it. Just go shoot. Just go shoot.